Greetings, one and all. It is I, Mr. J, welcoming you to yet another, what I'm sure will be an informative and tragic evening of quiz-based content on lovewrestling.ca. Yes, that's right. It is time. It is now time for yet another edition of Quizplex. I must inform you all that I am contractually obligated to be here. I do not care who wins. I do not care who loses. Because in my humble, let's be honest, not so humble opinion, I know all these answers. And you should too. So, why bother? But isn't it funny to watch people get things wrong? That's why I'm here. And that's probably why you're here too. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for your main event. That's right. It's time. It's time. It's Quizplex time. With your host, Zak Ralph.
Inspiring words as always, Mr. J. Thank you so much for the stellar introduction. Last Thursday of the month is one of my favorite times of the month. It is Quizplex night here on Love Wrestling CA. Thank you so much to everyone who's tuning in to our pro wrestling pub trivia game. As Mr. J said, my name is Zak Ralph and I am the host of the show. And I'm joined today by three very hungry competitors who are looking to score a $25 gift certificate from Pro Wrestling Tees by exerting their knowledge in pro wrestling trivia. But mostly we're just going to have fun doing so. So yeah, let me introduce our fine competitors. Before I do though, is it possible someone doesn't have their mic plugged in?
Testing.
1 2 1 2. Sibilance.
Testing.
Okay, I think we just had a little echo in StreamYard, and I think it's starting to dissipate. We're all good here. And once again, I have three amazing competitors here today. First and foremost, I have the host of a Wrestling Gal podcast, editor of Grown Ass Women podcast, and a whole litany of other responsibilities in the pro wrestling content creation scene. Ella J, welcome to the show.
Hello, I came prepared. Hello, how is everybody?
Happy to have you. And once again, there's a lot of great things happening in the wrestling scene right now, particularly in women's wrestling. Where should our eyes and ears be right now?
Oh man, there's
Putting you on the spot.
There's a lot happening, but honestly, I think two of the biggest things right now is this Ring of Honor Women's Championship tournament, where three of the first round matches are happening this weekend on Ring of Honor television. And also Empower is less than a month away now. I will be there in person doing in-person correspondence. So I'm super excited. And there's a lot of, hello, Josh. How are you? I love Josh Robinson. Hello. Oh my gosh. I love you guys. There's a lot going on, but I think those are two of the biggest things going on right now. So
Right on. You've brought you've brought a cheering section with you.
Thank you, Josh.
But speaking of NWA, our next contestant covers the NWA beat at Wrestling Observer, as well as a contributor at Fan-Sided DDT. Josiah McDonald, welcome to the show, friend.
Hello. Good to be back. Yes, I cover NWA for the Wrestling Observer, and I cover AEW and New Japan and whatever else, for Daily DDT, and occasionally other stuff for the Wrestling Observer as well, if I need to fill in. But I will never do it for Raw again. Never.
Totally fair. What's your thing to watch? Where should our eyes and ears be as fans right now?
So, obviously, everything Ella said about the women's wrestling stuff is stuff that I've been paying attention to as well. I'm a big fan of Ring of Honor as it is anyways, and it's very nice to see them putting some focus back on their women's division. They've brought in some really exciting talent there. Empower will be very interesting because I think we're going to see a lot of cross-promotion with that. We've already seen it start with Impact. I would not be shocked if we see some AEW crossover as well, because AEW next week is promoting a match that will be a number one contenders match for the NWA women's title. And also, As far as that goes, AEW feels like the hottest promotion in the world right now, especially with their partnership with New Japan blossoming. And it's very exciting. And obviously, everyone is thinking of the 2 or 3 names that could show up at any time that shall not be named. But yeah, so it's just very exciting. A lot of exciting things happening in wrestling right now.
Can't stop the fans from speculating on those big names if and when they show up. Our last competitor, I am welcoming someone who lives the namesake of our brand and loves wrestling as much as everyone here does. Ben, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us, Ben Simon.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ben Simon. I deliver for Skip the Dishes. That's my job. You guys are lots of accolades. That's what I do. But also, I contribute and a producer on Ringside Report Network on YouTube. Also, Wrestling Uncensored. It's a channel run primarily by my brother Dave Simon. He's been a MMA and pro wrestling journalist now in Montreal for almost 20 years. He goes live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday after Raw, Dynamite, and SmackDown. Also Thursday night, although not tonight due to a conflict. He's not on tonight, but he hosts an MMA show. I'm on usually for his Raw recaps. For his SmackDown recaps, he's a host with a local wrestler named Genesis, John. He's a very good guy. He's a very knowledgeable source of wrestling. Can talk about the in-ring moves. Also on Ringside Report, his MMA show. He hosts it with 2 other practitioners. They're all practitioners of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and they can really talk about MMA, UFC from a real grappling perspective, and that's what I do.
You're very busy putting your team over, but we had a comment in the comment section who's putting you over right now, the original Quizplex champion and valued member of the Love Wrestling team, Lawrence. He's rooting for you, man.
I appreciate that. Lawrence and I go way back. We went to high school together, and we used to go all the time to the local movie theater to watch WrestleManias and every pay-per-view in between. So I appreciate that, Lawrence. And he's the one who brought me here. So thank you.
All caps for his friend. Absolutely. So once again, we're here for some pro wrestling trivia, but that's by and large not the only game that's happening tonight. You see, again, this is a pub trivia setting, and while we don't promote overconception, we do we all enjoy a little drink here and there. So anytime my good friend and producer, head honcho of the Love Wrestling team, Spencer Love, pops in, as he's about to do, you're invited to enjoy your drink.
Timing. Look at that timing right there. It's
after like 6 months, we've mastered that. We've mastered it, friend.
We're getting her down pat, but also knock on all the wood around you just in case that comes back to bite us in the next little bit, Zach.
I got my chalkboard, but that's. I don't know if chalkboards
we will go with
it,
but as Zach mentioned, I will be producing the show. Thankfully, you guys don't get my voice in your ear, my face on your eyes all that often through the show. However, I am here to produce. I am here to take your comments, questions, concerns, and of course, allow you guys to play along with our pub trivia. We're on an honor system, but I trust the 4 individuals on screen beside me. Feel free to comment your answers to the trivia as we go along. And most importantly, friends, try your best and have fun. Zach, I'll let you hop back to it if we need me. Worst case, I hop back on and people drink again. I'll let you run down the gameplay and all of that fun stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself. Let's talk about how Quizplex is played. We're going to run a little video that will make it plain as day. Each player is going to have the opportunity to answer 2 pro wrestling related questions. They will have 10 seconds to verbally answer each of their questions. If a player gets their first question right, we will move immediately to their second question. While the active player is answering their questions, the other players may also answer the same question on their whiteboard or paper. If the active player gets their question wrong, the other contestants may be awarded half points if the answers on their whiteboard is correct. Correct answers for the active player in this round are worth 100 points. Correct answers stolen from the active player are worth 50 points. Friends, are there any questions before we start round 1 of Quizplex?
I'm ready.
And with that, away we go. The very first question, I'm gonna go in order on oh yes, the overlay. I can't forget the overlay. Gotta get that in here. So yeah, I'm gonna work from like top to bottom here. I'm gonna start with Ben. The first question is gonna be for you. How many days was CM Punk's record-setting reign as WWE champion?
434 days.
434 days is absolutely the correct answer. I want to make something clear. These questions, we start off easy, but we get harder and harder as the game goes on. So, this might seem like a very softball, and it is, but by the time we get to the third and final round, y'all are in trouble. Your second question, Ben. Team PCB, the short-lived stable consisting of Paige, Charlotte Flair, and Becky Lynch, originally went by what name?
The Submission Sorority?
Submission Sorority is correct. That's 200 points in the bank for Ben at the top of this very first round. Solid way to start. Fun story about the Submission Sorority and why that name didn't continue, but I don't really know if that's one we can really discuss on Quizplex. So I think I might just leave it and let everyone Google it if you were that curious.
It's not very family friendly.
No, it's not. It's not. And
Josh goes raunchy, steamy comments.
oh, thank you, Josh, for saying what I cannot right now. Our next set of questions, Ella J, you are the active player. Your first of two questions. Which WWE Hall of Famer appeared as Super Shredder in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Secret of the Ooze?
I'm just going to guess Batista.
I'm afraid Batista is not the correct answer. I'm going to invite Josiah and Ben to show their answers on their whiteboard, on their paper to the camera. We got Kevin Nash. A little closer, Josiah. Kevin Nash. We got a pair of Kevin Nashes, and we got a pair of correct answers. Big Daddy Cool, Kevin Nash, was the Super Shredder in Secret of the Ooze. But Ella, you're not out of this yet. We got one more question for you before we move on to Josiah. Who is the first superstar to win the WWE champion that was born after WrestleMania 1?
Seth Rollins?
Seth Rollins is the correct answer. There it is, 100 points. This is good. This is good. We got momentum going on this game. I'm vibing. This is good. Josiah, your first of two questions. Which professional wrestler played Tammy the Welfare Queen Dawson in the Netflix series Glow?
Oh gosh. Awesome Kong.
Awesome Kong is the correct answer. Who doesn't love Glow, by the way? Like, Glow is such a good show.
I have never actually seen it.
I kind of stopped it during the second season, actually. I couldn't get into it. I liked the first season, but I don't know. By the second season, kind of lost me.
Fair enough. I thought it was quite enjoyable. I thought they did right by the fandom and the industry. I don't know. Good show for me. Your second question, Josiah. Oh yeah, Josh Robinson. It is so good. Lots of Glow fans wherever you go. Who was the first ever masked WWE/WWF champion?
Rey Mysterio.
Rey Mysterio is not the correct answer. I'm sorry to say.
Oh, you're right. I see it now.
I put Ray also. I put Ray.
Okay, the correct answer, Ella J gets it with Kane.
As soon as I saw Kane, I was like, oh, no. I knew that.
The Big Red Machine, with his one-day reign after a First Blood match against Stone Cold Steve Austin. Can hardly fault you for not remembering that, but Ella gets the points on that one. And with that, that's a very expedient. Ella is so smart, dare amazing. Absolutely correct. You brought the cheering section with you. We appreciate that.
I have the least amount of wrestling experience here too. That's the sad part.
No such thing. You can't account for passionate fans. It's going to be anyone's game. We're only in round one, but as we head into round two, we're going to need Spencer to pop in, encourage us to take a little sips, and let us know what the scoreboard looks like.
Hello, friend Zach. You could not have been more correct. It truly is anyone's game. This is honestly probably the closest first round we have ever had. We've got a tie for second right now between Josiah and Ella, both sitting with 150 points. Ben in the lead, but only by 101 correct Uno answer. 250 for the man on the bottom right of your screens.
It's always
I'm
hard
getting
to
better
do.
at that. I was going to say I always feel like I'm getting better at that, but I never am, to be quite honest with you. So that's
I
the
was
way
so
the
proud of
cookie
myself
has
when I did that
crumbled.
part. I was so proud of myself when I was pointing out top to bottom. I'm like, yes, that's a win.
You did it
for
much
Zach.
better than I ever could. That's why I produce, you host, but we all hopefully have a good time here on Quizplex. Want to make sure that while I'm on here, we also give a big shout out to JPJ. Thank you for giving out a gift sub earlier. Throwback, thank you for the raid as well. If you guys are tuned in on Twitch, obviously just tuning in and spending some time with us is always, always, always appreciated. But if you want to put a little bit of money back in the jeans of the fine contributors here at Love Wrestling, I thought I could do that without getting out of breath, but I didn't. Please feel free to give us a subscription, gift a subscription out as JPJ did. Haha, no pun intended, I like to claim, but we want to spread the love with great people and great professional wrestling fans like yourself. Zach, I think it's about time for a break, is it not?
Yeah, it is time for a break. So why doesn't everyone just take a moment? The music's going to play. We're probably going to get roasted again by Mr. J. But we'll be able to see you on camera.
We'll see you soon.
Greetings once again, one and all. You are on an intermission. My name is Mr. J, and in case you have not heard, I have a very special event coming up this Saturday, June 26th. And that event is Word Slam. It is an open mic poetry evening devoted to the art and wonders of professional wrestling. Tune in and be educated, or tune in and show off just how intellectually superior you are. Either way, tune in this Saturday, June 26th, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Enough about that. Let's get back to Quizplex. Ladies and gentlemen, you are now on an intermission, so do what you will. Refresh your drinks, go to the bathroom, feed your dog, feed your cat if you are so inclined. I don't know why you would be feeding a dog or a cat at this.
So, elephant in the room. That was an old clip. That was from last month's Quizplex, where we promoted the upcoming Word Slam. And just for the record, Word Slam was a hell of an event hosted by Mr. J. Spoken word, wrestling promos, reimagined as spoken word poetry, and it was an absolute blast. Definitely worth revisiting, especially as Word Slam 2 starts coming up around the corner. But speaking of the second, it's time for the second round. Hey, transitions. Best one ever. Yeah, I'm proud of that segue. Thank you. Correct answers in this round for the active player are worth 200 points. Correct answers for questions stolen from the active player are worth 100 points. So double up from everything last round. Could be anyone's game. A very tight race going in right now. And once again, I'm going top to bottom. I'm going to start with Josiah for this first set of questions. For you, sir. You're on the big screen now. What was Edge's very first ring name?
Sexton Hardcastle.
Sexton Hardcastle is absolutely the correct answer.
A ridiculous name.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we couldn't talk about the submission sorority, but we're like totally okay bringing it up this actually. Maybe left hand's not talking to the right when we produce these questions. So that's partially on me. Oh, Parrish, that is not funny. Damian Sexton. Yeah, I think he might have used that at one point, if I'm not mistaken. He changed up the Sexton name a handful of times, but Sexton Hardcastle, that was prime Adam Copeland in his purest form. Josiah, your second question. True or false? Legendary Mexican wrestler El Santo never removed his mask in public until 1984. He passed away 7 days later.
True.
Okay, I will not confirm or deny if that's true. I'd like to take a look at the. We got false and
True.
It is actually false, but by a difference of 3 days. He passed away 10 days after removing his mask in a talk show environment in 1984. Legendary performer. I love his movies. But with that, we're going to move on to Ella. Your first set of your questions for first question for round 2. Pro wrestler Jeep Swenson, best known as the Ultimate Solution from a WCW run, played a Batman villain in one of the Tim Burton, Joel Schumacher run of Bat films. Who did he play?
Let's just go with this is wrong, but the Joker. I don't know.
I'm afraid the Joker is incorrect.
Yeah.
Ben's got Bane.
Yeah.
What do you got, Josiah? Bane. Bane is indeed the correct answer. I only learned that today that it was played by a wrestler. I don't really remember much of the Ultimate Solutions run, but I'm going to thank Love Wrestling team member Alex Reyes for that question, for affording it to Quizplex.
He had, I believe, 2 appearances in WCW, and his name was a controversy, to say the least. Yeah. If we're not talking about the submission sorority, like let's completely gloss over the original name of Jeep Swenson in WCW. But Ella, your second question of round 2. Only 3 women have held both the TNA Knockouts title and the WWE Women's title. Who is the Canadian out of the 3 of them?
Gail Kim?
Gail Kim is absolutely correct. Well done. You look as if that was a shot in the dark.
I was thinking, I was like, oh, and then you said Canadian. I'm like, oh, that's the only one that came to mind.
Good call, and it puts you on the adds to your tally for round 2. But with that, we're going to move on to the points leader heading into round 1. Ben, your first of 2 questions. Shane McMahon returned to WWE in 2016, interrupting an award ceremony for Stephanie McMahon. What award did Stephanie win that night?
The Vincent Kennedy McMahon Senior Award, like the Vince Senior Award.
I'm afraid I'm going to need something a little more specific than that.
The Vincent McMahon Senior Award for excellence.
I'm afraid that is not the correct answer. Ella, you don't have one?
No.
That's a tough one.
I just wrote Vince Senior Award.
Okay, totally fair. You got very close, Ben. You really did. But the answer we were looking for was the Vincent J. McMahon Legacy of Excellence Award. So you were very close, but at the very least, I feel like I needed that middle initial before I could award you points there. But you still have another shot here. We got another question for you. How many NXT takeovers did Alexa Bliss wrestle at?
I mean, she probably wrestled some when she had that kind of like fairy princess gimmick, like before she got with Blake and Murphy. So I'm going to say, but sometimes she was just a manager. Let's say 5.
Before I'm not going to confirm or deny, I'll take a look at the other answers. Ella's got, is that 4?
Yes, it's a 4.
4 and 2. I'm afraid no points will be awarded for this question. Much like Alexa Bliss's takeover matches, she had none. She did not compete at any NXT takeover events.
Oh, for real? Oh,
yeah.
She just got like drafted to the roster and started wrestling from there. Okay,
that's it. That's very possible. But like you said, like I know she. Josiah, sorry, go ahead.
I remember the story of it now. Now that you said it was 0, it was a bit of a thing when she was called up because she never wrestled. She never wrestled very much on NXT TV at all, and then she was called up without Blake and Murphy.
Yeah. And again, she ran with it. Like they gave her a chance, and she like knocked it out of the park since her debut. But with that, we conclude round 2. What do we got? Yeah, there we go. Chris Parrish, another valued Love Wrestling team member, pointing out that indeed 0 matches for Alexa Bliss. But with that, we wrap up round 2 of this edition of Quizplex. They're amazing. You are getting answers right too. I haven't seen them on the board because I haven't really looked at the Twitch chat, but I take your word for it. You've been a great supporter of the show. You're knowledgeable folk. You love wrestling. Happy to have you here. And with that, let's tally up the scores for round 2. Spencer.
Friends, I hope you have insurance because the barn is being burned. We have Ella and Ben in third place or second place, however you choose to define it. They are tied with 350 points. Josiah leaping from tied for second into sole place of first. First place. I should have phrased that better. 450 for you, my friend. So definitely still some wiggle room as far as all of this goes. Zach, anything you want to plug? Anything I need to do other than make sure that I've got a proper commercial lined up for the next break?
These things happen. There's some kinks in the program. We asked the audience not to
technical times in the industry.
Yeah, exactly. Just kinks in the program. We asked the audience not to kink shame us. It's no big deal. We'll try better next time.
And we are going to try that right now. Here's another commercial break. We'll see you guys in about 5 minutes. Less than that. It's 1:41. I can tell you that exactly.
5 minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, isn't it incredible how little or how much these people know? This is a pre-recorded message, so I don't actually know how much has been answered wrong and how much is being answered correctly. I'm only assuming that there is a lot of wrong answers, because I have no faith in humanity. By the way, you are tuned in to Quizplex on lovewrestling.ca. We are currently on an intermission between people getting answers wrong and people getting answers right about professional wrestling, right here on lovewrestling.ca. Stay tuned. The show will return momentarily. Oh, what's that? I had to vamp more because, contestants needed a break? So, all right, fine. I'm here again with a not-so-recorded message to say, yes, you are still here, and yes, people cannot respect guidelines of 30 seconds or less. I don't care if you have to go to the bathroom. Save that for later. This is time for Quizplex. You need to be here and stay here. Because it's Quizplex, and where else would you rather be?
Before I get to point value questions, I do want to ask our contestants, are you motivated by Mr. J's words to perform well in Quizplex?
Yes.
I have never been more motivated in my life.
Maybe that's what the next step of Mr. J is, like motivational readings for our audience, and just like get the ball rolling forward.
Motivational deprecation.
Motivational. Absolutely. I like that. I think that might work. But here we are. All cards on the table. Third and final round of Quizplex. Big points at stake with what's going on here. Active players are only going to get one question. Correct answers by the active player are worth 500 points. The correct answers questions stolen from the active player are worth 250 points. Big stakes. Is everyone ready?
Ready.
Josiah, first question's coming your way. What is the only match to main event a pay-per-view and then subsequently open the next pay-per-view? You don't have to give us pay-per-view names. We want to know the wrestlers.
Oh my gosh. I have no idea.
It's a tough one. You tapping out?
I'm tapping out. I honestly don't know.
Ella, what do you got? We got Cena versus Rollins from Ben and CM Punk versus who's that, Ella? John Cena.
John Cena.
He can't be seen.
Okay, very close, but I'm afraid there's no correct answers awarded on this one. The answer is Undertaker versus CM Punk.
I should know that.
2009 main evented Breaking Point and then opened Hell in a Cell.
I
So
was at the Breaking Point show.
yeah, that was a Montreal show.
Yeah, it was a Montreal show.
That's a huge gap in my knowledge because I was not watching wrestling in 2009. So.
That's when I started watching. I should have known that.
Worthy efforts all around, absolutely. But with that, Ben, we're going to move to your final round question. This one's for you, and this one's going to name 5 of Ed Leslie's ring names.
Leslie.
I'm going to give you a little time. Sorry?
Is he Doink?
I cannot confirm or deny that. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, just by that metric, I'll say Doink. Who else was Doink? Yeah, I don't think I'm going to get 5 answers names out of me, so I'll let the other contestants.
I'm going to afford a few more seconds. No?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a tough one.
It is a tough one. It is a tough one, even if you know them, because like when I heard the name, I'm like, oh, I know them, but I know maybe 3 of them. Ella, no answers?
Nope, not at all.
I have at least 4 and a 5th I'm not sure of, but I do have them.
Kudos.
Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
Oh.
The Booty Man. The Disciple. The Zodiac. And I think he went by Ed Leslie at one point.
I'm afraid that Ed Leslie is not a name that we found under his ring names, but you got 4 out of 5. I can't give you the points for that one, but we got Baron Beefcake, we got Big Brother Booty, we got the Booty Man, we got Brother Broody, we got Brute Force,
Butcher,
we got Brutus Beefcake, we've got the Butcher, the Clipmaster, the Disciple. We got 2 streams here, 2 banners here because we couldn't fit them all on one. We got Dizzy Golden, we got Dizzy Hogan, we got Ed Boulder, we got Eddie Golden, we got Eddie Hogan, we got the Mariner, we got the Man with No Face, the Man with No Name, and the Zodiac.
Wow.
Woo!
Research.
I know which one I was thinking now. I was thinking of Ed Boulder. That's what I wrote that.
Ed Boulder, absolutely. Lucas Cartier, yeah, no points. No points. And Ella, this is all on you. Like last question of the evening.
What on earth?
I think that's still in response to Ed Leslie's many in-ring names, but I think that also summarizes the spirit of this particular episode of Quizplex. What WWE Hall of Famer played a gangster's bodyguard on an episode of Baywatch in 1996?
I'm gonna guess Ron Simmons. That's the first person that came to mind.
I would like to watch that episode of Baywatch, but I'm afraid Ron Simmons is not the correct answer for that one. Ben, Josiah, who do you got? We got Vader, and we got Sting. I'm afraid no correct answers are awarded in this third and final question. No points awarded in this third round. The answer is Shawn Michaels.
I'm ashamed of myself.
At the very least, even if you've not seen the Baywatch episode, I guarantee, most of us are frequently on Twitter. You've seen the gif of Shawn Michaels looking through the binoculars and smiling to himself.
Yeah.
I'm like about 90% sure that's Baywatch, but might be proven wrong. With that, the third and final round comes to an end, and there's only one more thing to do, and that's award a victor. So I'm going to invite Spence.
Okay, no, there's one thing to do for you guys. There's like 7 I have to do in a timely manner, and I didn't do a good job of that.
You do great, my friend. You do great. Again,
I took like 7 different buttons and all of this sort of stuff, and I'm getting old, and I was just on a hike, and my back hurts, and it's getting late, and whatever other excuses I can throw at it, I've just tried to throw at it. So there we go. However, there is one thing that I do have to do that I believe Zach was chatting about, the results. And the nice thing is, friends, at least on my end, I didn't have to type a lot because there were no points awarded in what I would call the most difficult final round we've ever thrown out there. We usually limit things. We have 1 or 2 things that you have to answer. 5 names. 5 names for old Brutus the Barber Beefcake was a tough task for anybody. However, it was the task that tonight's winner, Received points 4. I'm really trying to delay because it's saying device is not connected for Josiah, but he is our champion tonight of this month's edition of Quizplex. We usually ask for a speech, but Zach, I'm going to just, you know what? I'm going to throw you under the bus.
First person I'd like to thank as Josiah is Zach for hosting just like an absolutely awesome Quizplex. Like he does a great job every month, and like he did a bang up job tonight. Spencer, he did marvelously as well. I think the Love Wrestling team does a great job. Oh crap, he's here. He hears me.
Hey.
The floor is yours to take your victory speech, and I will stop putting words in your mouth.
Well, I trained for this for many months. I have been preparing, and this did not occur just because I responded to a random tweet on Twitter 2 days ago. This is something I prepared my whole life for, and I gladly represent Eastern Canada and the province of New Brunswick with this win.
Bravo, sir. Josiah, it was a well-earned victory, but honestly, this was just a lot of fun, and I want to thank Ben and Ella. Like, it was an absolute blast having you all. Another Quizplex. Now I have to wait a whole other month to do another one, and that's disappointing. But I had a blast with you guys. Before we sign off, please let the audience know where to follow you on social media. Let them know about all the amazing projects you're involved in. I'm going to start with Ben. The floor is yours, friend.
Well, most of my plugs will actually be for my brother. Go to Ringside Report Network on YouTube. You could find a whole archive of his shows on wrestling and MMA. Also goes live every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday night, and also after pay-per-views. Also follow him on, I don't actually have Twitter, but follow him on Twitter, Dave Simon MMA. He's if you think I have interesting views, he's my mentor, and you'll enjoy it, I think. Thank you. This was a blast. Thank you very much for having me on. I had a lot of fun.
Glad to have you, and I thank Lawrence once again, if he's still in the comments, for putting us in contact. Ella, of all the amazing projects, let us know them all.
How much time do you have?
Hey, we actually wrapped this in a pretty timely fashion, so if you want to take the time, the floor is yours.
Oh, Lord. So, I guess first of all, you can follow me on Twitter. It's right down there below at It's Ella J, and you can follow my podcast, A Wrestling Gal, on Twitter and Instagram at A Wrestling Gal or AWrestlingGal.com. You can also find me on WrestleZone and SE Scoops and Bell to Bells for a lot of writing and on-screen interviews. And you can also listen to the GOT TV podcast, which I am their editor for, and GOT TV every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern on YouTube. And the newest edition is Women's Wrestling Talk. You can find me in some upcoming projects on their platform in the very near future.
Many hats for Ella J. You wear them all marvelously. And the champion, let us know where to follow you on the social media, where to support your work.
So you can follow me on the Twitter machine at WR_Central. Occasionally I stream video games at WR_Central on Twitch, but it has been a very long time, so we'll see if I get back to it. You can follow my writing at WrestlingObserver/F4WOnline.com and DailyDDT.com. And who knows where else I might pop up. But that's where most of my stuff is. And I try to cover AEW every week and NWA Power. And occasionally I'm a recurring guest on Power Out here on Love the Wrestling.
That's very true. Actually, Ella has also been a Power Out guest. It's been a pleasure to have you both. Ben, do you follow NWA? Should we be inviting you to a future broadcast?
I haven't watched too much of the product, but
fair. No, totally fair. When you catch up, and I hope you will, do let me know, and I'll be happy to have you on Power Out sometime soon. Once again, everyone, this was a wonderful game of Quizplex. Thank you for being a part of it. Thank you. And thanks to everyone who tuned in for our pub trivia wrestling challenge. Thank you very much for being a part of it. And before we let you go, I'm going to invite Spencer to let us know where we'll be rating over for our Twitch viewers.
Beautiful, Zach. Yes, friends, thank you. As Zach mentioned, don't forget to support the fine folks that you see on screen that aren't the regular, but the semi-regular contributors that we know and love here on Love Wrestling. Ella, Ben, Josiah, thank you guys very, very much for coming and joining us tonight. We're going to continue to keep the ball rolling, keeping the good times going. We're going to go hang out with Veda Scott, who I chatted with a couple of weeks ago. They're streaming some wrestling over on their Twitch channel as they stream a couple of times a week at the very least. So make sure you throw them some support as well. And Dara, yes, I see your comment in there. Absolutely. We are going to do another Champions game of Quizplex. In fact, that will be one if we do it. I said doo-doo. Veda Scott will be on that, hopefully, as, again, a former Quizplex champion. And Lawrence, or Luke, as Zach, I noticed, referenced you again tonight. You are a former Quizplex champion. Lots of great people in the comments as well. If you guys are tuned in on Facebook and YouTube, thank you. Give us a like, a share, a follow, a subscription, a Yelp review, whatever it may take, however you choose to support. It is always appreciated. And as mentioned, if you're tuned in on Twitch, the start raid button will load up as soon as my slow-ass internet decides to help me out a little. So I'm going to continue vamping. I'm going to keep going. We're going to let those ambulance and police noises, wherever they may be coming from, I can vouch it's not from me.
It's behind me. I live near a hospital.
Okay, so it's nothing to worry about either.
It's an everyday thing. When we started, there were fireworks going off behind me for some reason, and I was like, "What in the world is going on?"
We all know how I feel on fireworks, and that is always my cue to leave. So the Raid Now button will be coming up. You guys can join us as we tune out. For those of you on Facebook and YouTube, thanks for tuning in. For everybody on screen, I've been Spencer Love. We'll see you later.
Ladies and gentlemen, the points have been tallied, the winners have been announced, the losers have been sent packing, and I am still as ever Mr. J, better than everyone that competed tonight. It is, as always, a fact of life. In case you're wondering when this lovely